Hello everyone, welcome back to Marky Big Smoke. We've been working really hard on plot number 1 on the allotment place that I've been given, and I wanted to give you a tour round. I'm calling this plot 1 November tour. So come on, let's go around and see what I've uncovered and what I've got left to do. So we've collected lots of rubbish. Now if you remember when I first came onto this site, let me just see if I can raise you up a little bit. When I first came onto this site, I couldn't even get in because of all the brambles. And we've got piles of brambles everywhere, which I'm going to bury in a hugelkultur mound later on. And then we've got bags of rubbish that I've been collecting up from the site over this side. I've been moving things around, but let's go through a few bits of bobs that I've found. We've got the obligatory rolls of carpet, which I'm digging up out of the soil. That's all got to go. These bags are from compost and I've just filled them up with the rubbish from around the site as I've gone along. The old welly boot, shopping basket, tons of plastic. Now I'm filling up loads of tubs of glass that is buried everywhere, making a metal pile for scrappy. Brush might come in handy, old stool. Plastic. Let's move over to here. A lot of these sort of bread basket things, they might come in handy for carrying small pots around in. In this little tub here, I donated a small apple tree. I'm not sure how much life it's got left in it, but I've taken it. It looks like dwarf rootstock. Not sure that'll be any use. Made myself a little coat stand for when I come on site. Found that in the rubble. And there's a small, I think this is pear, a miniature pear tree there that someone donated again. Those are my pallets stacked up at the back that I brought from the other site. And you can see I've found various bits of pipe which may come in handy, which I'm going to keep. This is a water butt that I brought in from outside that I'm going to use to collect water in. And I've got it full of leaves that I collected from the park at the moment. And I've got a couple of more bags of leaves there. I mean, it's all free. I haven't really got the room to place it anywhere yet, but it will come in handy later on. Rubble, I'm going to have to sort the rubble out into different piles, different sizes and different types of materials. I'm going to build a dry stone wall at some point, and then which will be a retaining wall for my hugelkultur bed. I've got tons of this stuff appearing everywhere on site, and these are just the small pieces. More piles of brambles. This will be chopped up into very small pieces and put in the hugelkultur bed. Now down on this side of the grassy bank I'm going to have to get into there and start clearing out. There's more dead trees, more plastic. I can see some hose pipe in there, which is quite useful. That's going to be the starting area for my hugelkultur bed against the bank. Here we've got some quite thick trunks cut into small pieces. This was already on site. I've just moved it around and made piles here temporarily. More bags of leaves under my pallets there, and more branches that we've trimmed off and put on top just to dry out. I've already cut down a buddleia that was really out of control really. It hadn't been trimmed back. I've kept the stump in the ground and it's still alive, so that will be staying for now in my plot number 1. I can hear something tweeting in the background. I don't know what it is. Don't know if you can hear that. It's a lovely little tiny little bird. So let's swing you around from the rubbish that I've been collecting and moving up this end. You can see right into the plot now, right at the back. Trying not to show any houses. This is the path where it's going to be the neighbouring, that's my plot number 1 on that side, going all the way up to the back there. That's 26 metres long. all the way down to here. And this is the actual neighbouring pathway, adjoining pathway between mine and then the neighbour's plot on this side. That big tree trunk, it's not that massive, but it's thick enough. I'm going to use that in a structure later on. I've been scratching around in the soil. The soil is actually clay and it's really lovely once you've got the bramble roots out, which I've been doing in this area for the moment, because I've been given an apple tree. Now, unfortunately, I don't know what type of tree this is. I've got a feeling this is possibly on a dwarf rootstock as well, but I'm not sure. So I've given it a trim at the lower branches. I've transplanted it to my plot into this position. Now, as we come round to the left-hand side, under the grassy bank, you've probably seen this pile of wood before. I've been leaving it. I'm not going to tackle it yet because I've got nowhere to take it yet. We're in the lockdown 2 in the UK. So we've got some very thick tree trunks here, which I've dug out of the grassy bank. Tons of rubble in there and lots of buddleia and other trees. This is all going to be cut back. Cut and chopped up into small pieces as I can, just leaving the large tree trunks. And that will go into a hugelkultur bed to rot down. It's all natural wood, most of it is. Any of this artificial wood that we've had, I'm going to take off site. The same with the contents of this, whatever it is, a storage bin come rubbish dump. I've got several of these trees on site, on the bank, and from what I can tell, they are sycamore. From the broadleaf description, these ones here are sycamore, young sycamore. They can live up to 400 years old, and at the moment they've got smooth bark, but when they get older it gets all cracked. So I'm leaving all the trees in. There's another one here. So this is, again, I think this is a sycamore, a young one, and it belongs to this tree here, which I'm leaving in. It's got ivy growing up here at the moment, but I'm leaving that in. That's in front of the railway bridge. So I've got about 10 trees on site. Some of them are native trees to the UK, and I've been trying to identify the tree types. I think this is a self-seeded sycamore tree. Broadleaf, pointy, on like a 5-prong leaf shape. This is a self-seeded tree. At the moment, I'm going to leave that in. I think that is an ash. I'll take you over here and show you another one where I've got the leaves. I believe this is an ash tree, which can live to about 200 years old. Opposite leaves, when they're mature, they've got serrated edges. This is one of the large buddleias. I've got 2 large buddleias on site, which look like they're still alive. This one is definitely still alive, and it's throwing up new shoots. So I'm not going to dig that out. I might have to trim back some of these thicker branches though. This is typical of a small excavation. What I've found is piles and piles of big pieces of concrete. Some of them bigger than others, some of them small, everywhere. And I'm going to need to take everything up, which I'm really looking forward to doing. And this is everywhere you walk, you can see large piles. Well, you can see piles of this concrete slabs everywhere you walk. I mean, there's a ton of it here, it's just been dumped. But this will make nice dry stone walling for the hugelkultur beds. So I'm now standing at the end of the plot, and you can see my wife Susie right at the other end. This you couldn't even see before. It's completely covered in brambles, and that's about 25 meters down to where Susie's standing. Oh, we've got blue tits chirping in the tree behind me. Isn't that nice? Somewhere up there. So I just thought I'd show you from the back of the plot, 25 meters. I've cleared bramble tops all the way along this site, this plot. And then when you get to the other end, it's absolutely covered in total rubbish. I've just spun you round and just to show you, I've uncovered an old wheelbarrow. I think it needs a new tyre. And they were obviously piling up there. Whoever had this plot 8 years ago was piling up the some kind of compost heap, but the brambles have just grown through it. Yeah, so I'm at the end of the plot. We've got some kind of bamboo plant there. I'm not sure if it is bamboo because they're not very tall. But that is a lovely feature which I'm going to keep in. It's on the pathway beyond my plot. So unless the neighbours want to move it later, I'm going to try and keep it in. And that's the pathway that I could never get to before. So moving round from the bamboo, which is spreading into the plot, I've got another ash here, small one. I think this is self-seeded. And this tree here is another buddleia. You can see the branch and the wood type. If I try and move around to the back there, you can see that trunk is another buddleia, which unfortunately has been left and allowed to go wild. But I'm going to have to take a lot of these trunks off myself. And look what I can see. I'm getting closer to this object here, which I found under the buddleia branches. Not sure what it is yet, whether it's a chest freezer or a cabinet. Could be a filing cabinet. That's going to be exciting when we turn that over, but somehow I've got to get that off site, and surprise, surprise, mountains of bricks. Half of this stuff I haven't even uncovered yet. That's just rotting away, a little side path. There's something under here which I'm not sure what it is. It's all got to be cleared up. All got to be cleared. There's tons of carpet. I'll just show you the plot from this angle. Looking down the other end. It will become tidier. I am going to dig out all of the bramble roots, by the way, everybody. Every single bramble plant has a root ball, which unless you dig it out, it will continue to sprout new shoots. I just want to show you this shot here of the two trees that are in the corner of my plot on top of the grassy bank. They've obviously been there several years. I've looked it up on a tree identifier with the leaves. It is in fact, I believe, those two are Lawson cypress trees, and they can grow to 45 meters tall. Anyone know how to measure the height of a tree from down here? Anyway, and 200 to 400 years old, I think. I think they originate from California. Lawson cypress. I'm going to take you closer for a little close-up. So here we are on top of the grassy bank. The two trees there, Lawson cypress, originally from California, and they can grow up to 45 meters plus tall, and they can live for 200 to 400 years, I believe. Let's go in for a close-up. As you can see, the bark has got a lot of character. These trees are lovely. And I'll show you one of the branches. You've got these cones here, which I believe are female cones. I think they're pine cones of some sort. They're female cones. And the leaves are like these kind of complex type shapes covered in a webbing of some sort. Lawson cypress, as far as I can tell. As we look up the main trunk into the canopy. Now looking from the railway bridge on top of the grassy bank to plot number 1, and as you can see, I've made a lot of progress. You can now see ground. There's another, it looks like another Lawson cypress in there, and we've got this ash tree here. I believe it's ash anyway, which is going to stay in. You can see that chest or whatever it is in there, and other stuff. This is all got to be tidied up and chopped down in due course. That's my pile of pallets, but look at how much ground I've actually cleared. I know it's only the bramble tops. I'm under no illusion of how much work is going to be involved in clearing this site. These two here, that one and that one, are sycamore. Up to 400 years old if they're allowed to grow. These are very young. And there's another ash over there behind. That one there is ash. I was going to swing you around now to show you what I've cleared. All that was full up 7, 8 foot high brambles, and I've cleared right to the other end of the plot. Just the tops at the moment. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little November plot tour, everyone. In the coming weeks, I shall be giving you some thoughts as to how I'm going to develop this plot. It may not have escaped your attention. I've got at least 10 trees on this site. One thing I've been thinking about, and I would appreciate your comments, is whether to make this plot a forest garden plot. I've already got my canopy if I want to go down that route. Obviously I can plant some others. I do want to grow some annual food as well, like carrots and things that need sun. So that's another thing I've been thinking about, how much sun this site gets. So thanks for joining me today. Come back again soon. See you all again on Marky Big Smoke. Thanks very much for joining me. Cheers everyone.